When I was making out with my girlfriend, I smelled cigarette smoke on her chest. There are some on the left and some on the right. No, I never fucking smoke. The fun starts right away. If you like it, please click to subscribe. I still couldn't believe it and almost put my nose on it. But this smell. It's absolutely correct. My mind suddenly seemed to explode and everything went blank. My girlfriend was unhappy with my pause. Are you coming or not? You're so annoying. You came back from a business trip like a hungry dog and you wouldn't even let me take a shower. Seeing that I still didn't move, she turned over and got out of bed, mumbling to herself, and went into the bathroom. I was still in a state of confusion and shock, unable to recover for a long time. That night, my girlfriend slept soundly next to me. But I couldn't sleep all night. The next day, I sent my girlfriend to school. She is studying for a doctorate at a local university and will graduate this year. I was driving with a blank expression on my face, and as soon as my girlfriend got in the car, she started looking at her phone and chatting on WeChat. We didn't talk much the whole way. She used to love sharing everything about school with me, and we always had endless things to talk about. Now, if I don't bring it up, she rarely talks to me about these topics. When did it start? And most importantly, who is that smoking man? A feeling of hatred surged in my heart, and I unconsciously tightened my grip on the steering wheel. I know almost all the opposite sex around my girlfriend. After thinking about it all night, I feel that none of them is possible. When she was almost at the university gate, a voice message started playing on her cell phone. It was the voice of a middle-aged man. Sophia, haven't you reached the lab yet? I thought. Before he could finish his words, he was suddenly interrupted. I glanced at my girlfriend. She said naturally, today I have to teach the first-year graduate students how to use the laboratory equipment, and the teacher is urging me. Just leave me here, I want to walk a few steps by myself. I had a vague feeling that something was wrong, but I couldn't put my finger on it. It was not until my girlfriend got off the bus that I suddenly realized, didn't her instructor always call her Sophia? When did calling her Sophia become so intimate? My heart is pounding like thunder. No matter who I suspected, I never suspected her mentor. My girlfriend's mentor is called Robert, and I have only seen him in photos. He is a man in his 50s, looks very elegant, and I heard that he has excellent scientific research experience and academic reputation. If it really is this old man. I can't imagine how many opportunities there are for them since they see each other every day at school. But Robert's daughter is almost as old as his girlfriend. At that moment, I almost couldn't help but get out of the car and question my girlfriend, asking her if she had done anything wrong to me and if she had an improper relationship with her mentor. But my mind tells me I can't do that now. Stay calm and check things out first. When my girlfriend came home in the evening, I pretended to hug her, but she dodged without leaving a trace. Honey, I'm tired today. I want to take a shower and go to bed. After saying that, she threw her phone onto the sofa and went into the bedroom. My girlfriend usually leaves her cell phone lying around at home and doesn't mind me looking at it. If she had any secrets in her phone, she definitely wouldn't act like this. In the middle of the night, after my girlfriend fell asleep, I tiptoed to the living room and started searching in her bag. Sure enough, my guess was correct. She also has a cell phone. I suppressed my excitement and successfully unlocked the password after trying it twice. When I saw the content of the WeChat message, my limbs went numb and I felt like I was falling into an icy cave. Compared to me and the teacher's wife, who makes you more comfortable? I have stopped touching that tigress a long time ago. She has a body like a bucket, and men are not interested in her. You are young and beautiful. I feel younger when I am with you. The teacher is not old at all, but you are big and thick. And the teacher has great physical strength, and every time he makes people beg for mercy before he is willing to stop. Your upper mouth is as powerful as your lower mouth. Which mouth does the teacher like? I like them all. I like them very much. Next time I will fill your upper mouth as well, so that you don't always scream too loudly and make me worry that someone will hear you. I don't care, I'll still be in your office next Friday, okay? Okay, Daddy, I just bought a new set of sexy lingerie. Little demon, don't drain your advisor dry, or you'll see who will let you graduate. There were thousands of WeChat messages, and every sentence was like a slap in the face. I would never have thought that my girlfriend, who was so quiet and elegant like a goddess in front of others, would actually be flirting with an old man who could be her father behind her back. No wonder she suddenly seemed to be on a roll in the past year, publishing one paper after another. She was originally worried about whether she could graduate successfully, but now she is more than capable of graduating early. It turns out that those who go out early and come back late every day are not working on the subjects, but are directly working on the boss. I don't understand. Over the years, I have been very sincere to my girlfriend. At first, she wanted to pursue a doctorate, but her parents disagreed because they didn't want to spend money on her studies. I fully supported her, accompanied her to review, take exams, and interviews, and even paid for her tuition and living expenses without complaint. But that's what she told Robert about me. He was pretty good to me, but maybe we had been together for too long, and I always felt that there was a lack of passion. And he was still disappointing at times. He could support me to study for a doctorate, but he couldn't help me graduate. He was willing to support me, but he was reluctant to lend money to my brother when he asked him to. I was shaking with anger when I saw this. If there is no passion, you will have an affair, right? Your brother is a gambler. I am mentally ill, and I lent him money to gamble. Robert spoke to me in a light tone filled with sarcasm and disdain. In fact, what can a man of his age give you? A house that needs to be repaid for 30 years? A car worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? A marriage where you may quarrel at any time over daily necessities and children's schooling? A beautiful rose like you should be carefully cared for, not become vulgar. Although I can't give you marriage, I can guarantee that you will have a career that others envy and a glamorous life. I think I understand. This old man thinks he is an economic tycoon. His girlfriend is Hai Chow, whom he keeps, and I am that poor little bae. It took more than 4 hours to finally go through all the chat records. From the initial shock and anger, it gradually turned into disheartenment and disappointment, and in the end, I felt that I was completely heartbroken. All my sincerity towards her over the years might as well be fed to a dog. The next day was Friday. While dressing up, my girlfriend said, "I still have a regular meeting tonight, so I will be back late." I said softly, with a blank expression. In the past, she always told me that she had a regular meeting on Friday night, and it was almost 11 o'clock every time she came back. Who the hell could have imagined that it wasn't a meeting at all, but a private meeting? I feel sick when I think about my girlfriend having sex with an old man and then coming home and doing it with me. Oh, and my parents are coming over this weekend, and I think they're going to talk about our marriage this time. Honey, sometimes my parents don't talk to you very nicely, and their demands are a bit excessive. But they are my parents after all, so for my sake, can you just agree to their request? I almost couldn't help but scold her again. He spent my money, lived in my house, and cheated on me for so long. Now she even has the nerve to persuade me to agree to her parents' outrageous request. What does Sophia think of me? I forced a smile. Okay, I'll pick them up tomorrow morning. I'll discuss with my uncle and aunt about the gift request. Only then did my girlfriend smile sweetly and went out humming a song. As soon as she left, my face darkened. I found Robert on the university teacher's personal homepage. Robert has indeed won many honors in the past. He is currently the director of a national key laboratory at a university and also serves as a director of various associations in the industry. I have always heard my girlfriend mention that Robert often flies abroad to attend conferences. He is definitely a big shot in the academic world. I paid someone to check his family situation. My parents are still alive, my wife runs a business, and I have a daughter who is studying abroad. He can be called a successful person with a happy family. Okay. I won't give up until he's completely ruined. Around 10 o'clock in the evening, I appeared under my girlfriend's laboratory building. I asked a student and found out that Robert's office was 602. Looking at the lit window of room 602, I sent a text message to Robert's wife using the new cell phone number I registered today. Old woman, do you think you are worthy of being a teacher? Almost immediately, the phone rang. I hung up and continued texting her. The man said he was working overtime because he didn't want to face the tigress at home. The teacher is kind-hearted and can't say it, but I feel sorry for her. I advise you to be more conscious and leave as soon as possible, so that you can make room for others. I didn't answer the phone, so Robert's wife could only send me text messages. Who the hell are you? Fuck you. What is your relationship with my husband? I ignored her. I don't believe she would remain indifferent after seeing those 2 text messages. Sure enough, after a while, Robert came out. He looked a little anxious, and was walking out in a hurry while talking on the phone. His girlfriend followed behind him and seemed to want to hold Robert back. Robert pushed his girlfriend away as if he had been electrocuted, turned around and made a gesture to her to keep quiet, then quickly got into the car and drove away, leaving the girlfriend standing there with a resentful look on her face. I had just arrived home when my girlfriend came back. I pretended I knew nothing. Honey, the meeting ended so early today. She responded calmly. You can see that he is not in a good mood. That's ridiculous. My girlfriend has always been very confident about her appearance. From her chat records with Robert, we can see that she thinks that she is a dimensionality reduction compared to the original wife, and she has an absolute status advantage in the old man's heart. As a result, after a call from his ex-wife, the old man had to go home obediently. For a man of Robert's social status, although he no longer has feelings for his wife, a stable family and a perfect image in front of others are very important to him. Not to mention that Robert and his wife have children. But unfortunately, from the moment I found out he was cheating on me, he was doomed. The next day I met my girlfriend's parents. Her home is not far from the city, only an hour's drive away. In the past 6 months, every time they saw me, they would talk about marriage, dowry, and RVs. This time is no exception. When her mother saw me, she yelled at the top of her voice. Yesterday, my neighbor's daughter got married. The wedding was so grand and impressive. The man's family gave $280,000. $280,000. I really can't understand. Her daughter's education, appearance, and personality, how can her father compare to our Sophia? My girlfriend's father shook his head. No, it's not even close. I drank my tea in silence. Seeing that I didn't say anything, her mother's voice became sharper. Michael, Sophia is pretty and sensible, and now she has a PhD from a 985 university. Her father and I have put so much effort into raising such an outstanding daughter. $300,000 for my daughter to marry you, and the house will be added to her name, which is not excessive at all. Do you know how many matchmakers are begging me to find a husband for Sophia right now? I can't even count them with both hands. My girlfriend sat next to me without saying a word, and it was obvious that she agreed with what her parents said. The family never mentioned who paid for their daughter's doctoral degree, which they were so proud of. Thinking of this, I became even more disappointed with my girlfriend. I smiled and said, Uncle and Aunt, my parents and I have actually discussed this over the past 2 days. $300,000 for a betrothal gift is really not possible. My girlfriend's parents couldn't laugh anymore. My girlfriend's face instantly fell. Seeing that my girlfriend's mother had her hands on her hips and was about to argue with me, I quickly said, what I mean is that my family has decided to pay $500,000. Huh? How much? How much did you say? My girlfriend's mother screamed. She stood up suddenly and her arm accidentally hit the table, causing the dishes in front of her to clink and almost fall to the ground. My girlfriend and her father were also shocked and looked at me in disbelief. I said word by word, Auntie, $500,000. My girlfriend's mother was so excited that she was at a loss. Her father opened and closed his mouth several times, as if he wanted to say something, but didn't know what to say. I looked sincere on the surface, but sneered in my heart. The reason why they were anxious for me to marry my girlfriend was not because their daughter was about to turn 30, but because their good-for-nothing eldest son was going to get married for the second time. The second marriage woman has high requirements, so she has to get it from me. I continue to increase my bet. It doesn't really matter whether Sophia's name is on my house or not. Before we get married, I will buy her a house in a school district. This will not only provide her with security, but also be useful for our children's schooling in the future. The girlfriend's eyes changed from surprise to joy, and her voice suddenly became sick and panicked. Husband. I plan to buy a new car when I get married. The one I'm driving now isn't that great, but it's still a means of transportation. I've only been driving it for a little over a year, so Sophia's brother can take it and drive it whenever he needs it. Before I could finish my words, my girlfriend's father sat next to me with a glass of wine and put his arm around my shoulders. Michael, ever since you met Sophia, I've felt that you're a reliable kid. Her mother and I are relieved to leave Sophia to you. You're paying tens of millions of dollars, so don't say anything polite. I looked at my girlfriend and said, Sophia is nice to me, so I will be twice as nice to her. My girlfriend looked at me lovingly. Her mother diligently moved all the meat and vegetables in front of me. Stop talking for so long, come and eat something. The whole family was immersed in great joy. No one noticed the mockery in my eyes. Smile. The happier you are now, the more devastated you will be when your dreams are shattered. My girlfriend was very active in bed at night. Finally, she trembled and said, Hubby, you are so good to me. I love you so much. But some people are just mean. The better you treat her, the more she will get used to it, and she will trample on your sincerity without any guilt. The next day, she secretly sent messages to Robert using another mobile phone. I am very unhappy about what happened that night, and I want to make amends. Although I don't know how Robert explained it to his wife that night, my trick of alerting the enemy was still useful. Robert told his girlfriend that he had to be more restrained at school recently because the tigress at home now checked on him every day. The girlfriend acted coquettishly and complained, and even sent several photos of herself posing in black stockings. Finally, she coaxed the old man into agreeing to do his best to help her apply for the National Natural Science Youth Fund. If I can apply for this scientific fund, it will be of great help to my girlfriend in graduating and staying on to teach at the school. TSK TSK TSK. It was really a satisfying sex transaction. My girlfriend has come home early for 2 weeks in a row and helped me cook and do housework. Our relationship seems to be getting better and better. However, it's just an appearance. A few days later, my girlfriend suddenly said that she was going on a business trip to attend an academic conference. I tentatively asked, "Shall I take a leave of absence to accompany you?" She said, "Oh, honey, you are so busy, I can just go to the high-speed rail station by myself." The next day, my girlfriend refused my offer to send her off and went out with her suitcase and took a taxi. I quietly hailed a taxi and followed behind. Sure enough, her destination was not the high-speed rail station, but a star-rated hotel in the east of the city. I waited outside patiently. Robert arrived at around 7 in the evening. As soon as he entered the lobby, he went straight to the elevator. I put on my hat and mask and followed him. Based on the chat records between my girlfriend and Robert, I can be sure that he doesn't know me. We were the only 2 people in the elevator, and Robert had already pressed the button for the 8th floor. I pressed 7. After coming out from the 7th floor, I quickly ran to the 8th floor through the emergency passage. Robert just came out of the elevator. I hid and watched him knock on one of the doors. I pulled out my cell phone and made a call. 5-star hotel, 8006, just do as I say. 20 minutes later, 2 young men in suits arrived. The 2 walked straight to the door of 8006, and the taller one knocked gently. "Hello, room service, all guests staying in the hotel today will receive a gift package." The door of 8006 opened. The 2 of them immediately squeezed in without saying a word and closed the door. Robert looked alert. "Aren't you guys going to deliver something?" "Hey! What are you recording? Put your phone down quickly." Before he could finish his words, the tall man slapped him on the head. "Let your sister go." Robert's meticulous hairdo was messed up. He looked angry and shouted, "Who are you? How dare you hit someone?" The tall man slapped her again. "Slap your sister." Robert's glasses fell to the ground. At this time, he realized that something was wrong and panicked, but he still tried to stay calm. "Let's talk it over. If you hit me again, I won't be polite. I'll call the police." "Say your sister." "You're welcome. Call the police." After several fierce fights, Robert was beaten back step by step. The tall man kicked him in the crotch. Robert's face turned pale and he fell to the ground, curled up, and opened his mouth but no sound came out. It was obvious that the pain was extreme. The tall man and the person recording the video fought each other with fists and feet, and the 2 of them beat Robert for more than 10 minutes. Robert almost cried at the end. "What on earth are you guys doing? If you want money, I can give it to you." The tall man squatted down to look him in the eye, patted his face, and then spat in his face. "You old man, don't you know what you did wrong? And you still have the nerve to ask me? Let me ask you, did you know that the woman you slept with today has a boyfriend?" Robert's pupils shrank. He blurted out, "Are you her boyfriend?" The tall man sneered and didn't answer him directly. "Now tell me, should I hit you?" Robert didn't dare to speak. His eyes were erratic, and after a long while he managed to squeeze out a sentence. "As long as you don't make a big deal out of it, I'll agree to whatever you want." "Old man, what can you give me?" "I'll give you the money. I can transfer it to you right now." The tall man hit Robert's head hard several times like shooting a basketball. "Fuck you, do you think I'm stupid? You transfer money to me, then turn around and call the police to arrest me and sue me for extortion." Robert was beaten so hard that he begged for mercy. "No, no. If you're worried, I have 5,000 yuan in cash in my bag, you can just take it." Robert is an academic big shot. He is usually very arrogant in front of others and teachers and students are very respectful to him. But at this moment, he is groveling in front of a young man in his 20s. It is so ridiculous. "I want you to face the camera and tell them that you are a beast worse than pigs and dogs, that you shouldn't hook up with other people's girlfriends, and that you are a bitch." The tall man raised his hand, and Robert quickly obeyed. "I am worse than pigs and dogs. I am a beast. I shouldn't seduce my students. I am a bitch. The tall man nodded with satisfaction. At this moment, a woman's scream was heard from behind. The camera suddenly turned and the girlfriend's panicked face appeared. She stood at the bathroom door, wrapped only in a bath towel, her two long white legs clearly visible. Who are you? Who are you? Robert immediately realized something was wrong. Sophia, he is not you. At this time, the tall man suddenly said, huh? Isn't this room 8016? The person who was recording the video with his phone reminded him, we seem to have made a mistake. The room card says 8006. The tall man immediately apologized. Oh, I'm so sorry, you too, we went the wrong way. When the girlfriend heard this, she was furious. Are you guys mentally retarded? You could have made a mistake even with such a huge difference. Not only did you walk into the wrong room, you actually beat someone up. We need to call the police. The tall guy was happy. Okay, go ahead and sign up. Sophia, stop talking. Tell them to leave. Robert has a completely different attitude from his girlfriend and just wants to settle the matter quickly. The tall man turned around and gave Robert a thumbs up. Old man, is she your wife? The girlfriend yelled, it's none of your business. Get out of here. When the tall man walked by my girlfriend, he suddenly said, you slut, you're still pretending to be noble. If you two weren't committing adultery, why would I feel guilty? My girlfriend's face turned pale instantly. The video stops here. The tall guy said to me, brother, don't worry. Even if my kick doesn't cripple him, I guarantee he won't be able to lift it for a month. Also, this is the 5,000 I took from the old man's bag. I nodded with satisfaction. I don't want the money, I'll give it all to you. It was worth it that I found these two people in advance and told them that they just had to not beat anyone to death, and the key point was to record the entire process. Even if Robert was beaten innocently, he would never dare to make a big deal out of it. He has to suffer this loss in silence. The next day my girlfriend came back. There was a dark gray tint to his eyes, and he looked like he hadn't had a good rest. I accompanied the old man to the hospital and ran around to take care of him for a whole day and night. It would be strange if I wasn't tired. She slumped on the sofa like a big boss, and ordered me to pour her a glass of water and give her a good massage. I'm so tired from the business trip that I didn't even eat properly. Honey, please order some Japanese takeout for me. You're dreaming. After playing out affectionate scenes with her for a week, it's finally time to change the script. I found a random excuse and had a big fight with her. My girlfriend was so angry that she was shaking all over. Michael, are you fucking crazy? I said 2 things to the courier last week and you're going to bring it up and argue with me? You dare to call me a bitch? I was louder than her. Look at the way you smile cheaply at other men. You are a bitch, a whore. Ever since I've been with her, I never say harsh words even when we have an argument, let alone such insulting words. My girlfriend was completely stunned. Her eyes were red, she yelled in a rude manner, and rushed over to scratch me. Who are you calling a bitch? You are a bitch. Your whole family is a bitch. I said impatiently, Sophia, we are getting married soon. All your food and drinks are paid for by me. You should keep your distance from other men. Can you be more aware of this? My girlfriend got mad at me when I mentioned money. Okay, you finally said what's on your mind, right? You just think I spent your money, right? Her face flushed, and she opened Alipay on the spot and transferred me $40,000. The tuition is $10,000 a year, $40,000, I don't owe you any more. You stingy guy, you are such a loser. Then she dragged the suitcase which she had not yet opened, slammed the door, and left. Good job. You are quite good at avoiding the important issues. Not a word was mentioned about the living expenses for 4 years. But at least I recovered some of my losses. Her mother called me in the evening and asked me cautiously if we had a fight and why Sophia suddenly came home and said she didn't want to get married. I was silent on the phone. Things are different now. Ever since I talked about the bride price last time, her parents' attitude towards me has changed 180 degrees. Perhaps sensing that I was angry, her mother quickly said, Sophia is a little willful sometimes, but she is not a bad person by nature. There have been many boys who liked her since she was a child, but she has never paid attention to any of them except you. In this respect, she is definitely a model of a good wife. My daughter, I know. You know shit. Which good wife would send sexy words and nude photos to an old man in the middle of the night? What kind of good wife would let an old man go home smelling of cigarettes? I took a deep breath and said, Auntie, I was a little impulsive today and said some angry words that I shouldn't have said. Good boy, listen to Auntie, stop arguing, it will be fine once you two calm down. In the past, whenever we had a conflict, no matter who was right or wrong, I would apologize to my girlfriend first, and then buy her a gift or treat her to a meal to make amends. But this time I refused to bow my head. The arrogant girlfriend had no way out and never came back. I enjoy peace and quiet. On the contrary, her parents were extremely anxious and called me almost every day, hoping that we could reconcile quickly. Robert was beaten up and suffered a loss. No one knows how he is doing now. It's time to surprise him again. I bought 2 sets of cheap men's underwear on Pinduoduo and sent them to Robert's home, and the recipient was his wife. I'm sorry, my dear sister, everything is for the final show effect. I got up very early on the day the express delivery was signed for. My girlfriend said before that their department will receive a group of foreign scholars who are coming to visit for exchange today. I texted Robert's wife before leaving the house. Teacher's wife, did you receive the underwear? Wash it quickly so that the teacher can wear it for me tomorrow. The teacher said that you gave him a daughter who was a loss of money, and that not having a son was his biggest regret in this life. If I give him a son in the future, I will call you sister. Who the hell are you, bitch? If you want to know who I am, come to school and see for yourself. I disguised myself and sneaked into the laboratory building, where I happened to see a group of blonde-haired, blue-eyed foreigners walking and communicating with the department head and several professors. Many teachers and students followed behind, and I was at the end and no one noticed me. This is the National Key Laboratory headed by Professor Robert. He has led his students to tackle many difficult and key topics this year. Please come in. My girlfriend, who was standing next to the experimental equipment, was wearing a navy blue cheongsam, and the foreigners exclaimed in amazement. The 2 girls next to me were also very excited. It's senior sister Sophia. She looks so beautiful today. She is worthy of being the beauty of our school. She is not only good-looking, but also publishes in core journals one after another, and her scientific research capabilities are also outstanding. I've always heard that Teacher Zhao is very strict, and she is the only one who has received praise from Teacher Zhao. You are a winner in life. I am so envious and jealous. My girlfriend introduced her project in a very confident manner, and the foreigners nodded frequently. Robert stood aside with a proud look on his face. Old bitch, I hope you can still laugh later. There was a circle of students standing outside the lab, watching the excitement. I stood at the outside and pushed forward, shouting, "Who is this? Can you please stop pushing?" There was a small commotion among the crowd, and a stack of A4 papers was suddenly scattered all over the floor, at least 40 or 50 sheets. Whose paper was lost? Everyone stopped and looked at the ground. This isn't a paper, it looks like a chat log? Several people who were nearby squatted down to pick it up, and after seeing the contents clearly, they were all dumbfounded. The department head was a little unhappy. What's wrong? No matter whose belongings it is, pick them up quickly. What a disgrace. A teacher awkwardly handed him the paper in his hand. Dean, this. I hid in the crowd and laughed. Finally waited for this day. I selected the most explosive and shocking parts of the chat history between my girlfriend and Robert and printed them out. I want to press you against the window of the lab and fuck you hard from behind. Oh no, I'm teaching a lab class to undergraduates right now. You were so passionate in my office last night, baby, did you steal my things? You stole my heart. Everyone says Mr. Zhao is a serious person, but who knew he was so talkative in private? The tigress at home asked again if you wanted to go home to finish your meal. She only wanted to eat you. As long as the teacher helps me post a few more articles, I can eat as many times as I want and wherever I want. There are so many fucking dirty words like this. In order to make the melon more familiar and richer for teachers and students, I also specially selected some content related to the school. What about the vice president being taken to a club, a professor being divorced a long time ago, and the department head being a dink because he couldn't have children? All of these things were revealed by Robert to his girlfriend. The department head held the paper in his hand, his face becoming increasingly darker. The 2 parties involved in the shocking incident also saw the chat records. My girlfriend's face turned pale instantly and she almost fell down. Robert stood there in a daze. Old Ginger is still spicy. After just a few seconds, Robert was unusually calm, and even showed a hint of anger. This is a fake. Someone is deliberately trying to discredit me and my students. Everyone was whispering. The time in the chat records spanned several months. Who could be so painstaking and deliberate in forging them? However, many people also expressed their belief in Teacher Zhao and Senior Sister Qiao, and said that someone must have framed them. My girlfriend started sobbing at the right time. She was pretty to begin with, and she looked even more tearful when she cried, so everyone started to comfort her. Sister, please stop crying. Who would believe such nonsense? Damn it, if I know which bastard did this and slandered my senior sister, I will beat him up. The foreigners were confused and asked what had happened. The department head was almost embarrassed. All right, stop looking. Come on, some people, clean this place up. Teacher Zhao, you guys. Before he could finish his words, a slightly fat middle-aged woman suddenly jumped in from outside the door. She locked onto her girlfriend accurately, grabbed her hair, swung her arm and slapped her hard. It's you, bitch. How shameless of you to seduce your own teacher. How shameless. How shameless. The woman slapped the man in the face for every time he cursed at her. She was very fierce. My girlfriend was caught off guard and was hit 6 or 7 times, and her fair face instantly became red and swollen. Ah! My girlfriend screamed and cried out in pain. The people around finally reacted at this time and rushed over to pull the people away. After being pulled apart, the fat woman turned to Robert, who was already dumbfounded. Robert, if you don't want to live with me anymore, just divorce me. You keep this bitch mistress and let her show off in front of me every day. Do you think I'm easy to bully? What's wrong with me giving birth to a daughter? You're not worthy of being a father. You two bastards really make me sick. The appearance of Robert's wife was like adding fuel to the fire, pushing the matter that was originally about to be temporarily revealed directly to a climax. The 2 girls next to me, who had just been envious of my girlfriend, were now shocked beyond words. This is crazy, this world is crazy. What should I do? My hands are shaking while I'm eating melons. Could it be that those chat records are all true? Oh my god. Look at my girlfriend and Robert again. My girlfriend cried so hard that she was out of breath and almost collapsed. The few girls who were originally around her to comfort her, all quietly moved away from her. Robert's face was pale, but he still insisted, "You have been deceived. What nonsense are you talking about?" It makes me feel relieved. It's so fucking satisfying. Is there anything more satisfying than seeing a sanctimonious hypocrite being unmasked in public? I saw that my goal had been achieved and retreated in time. After all, there is still a big show to prepare for. The difference is that this time I have to act in it myself. At 8:30 in the evening, my girlfriend's house was crowded with people. I called everyone I could, including Sophia's parents, her brother, her brother's girlfriend, as well as relatives, neighbors, classmates, and best friends. Her mother happily boasted to everyone, "My son-in-law is generous and promised to buy a house for Sophia. As for the betrothal gift, it's this amount." Her mother held up 5 fingers. $50,000? Her mother shook her head. $500,000? There was a sound of gasps all around. Sister, how come you and your brother-in-law are so lucky? Your son-in-law is generous and your daughter is promising. You two just have to wait and enjoy your life in the future. My girlfriend's parents became more and more proud amid the praise and envy of the crowd. I smiled and said, "Sophia is such a good girl. It is my blessing to marry her." At this time, my girlfriend's best friend suddenly shouted, "Sophia is back." The moment the door was opened, I knelt on one knee with the diamond ring in my hand. "Sophia, I was wrong. I have seriously reflected on this period of time. You are the person I want to spend my life with. I should give you care, tolerance, and support. How could I make you angry and sad? I promise that I will never make you angry again. Please forgive me, okay? And please marry me." The girlfriend was caught off guard and was startled at first. After hearing what I said, she stood there in a daze, unable to speak for a long time. I was closest to her and saw that her eyes were red and her cheeks were a little swollen. "Promise him. Promise him." Everyone in the room clapped and cheered, and my girlfriend suddenly covered her mouth and cried. "Sophia is so excited. Sophia, hurry up." As everyone urged her louder and louder, my girlfriend was in a dilemma. Just as she was about to nod, my cell phone suddenly rang at an inopportune time. Huh? Oh, okay. I hung up the phone, looking puzzled. That's weird. Someone told me that he knew I proposed to Sophia today and wanted to give me a gift. He sent it to my email and said I must read it immediately. My girlfriend's mother was unhappy and said, "Who is it? Why did you choose this time instead of earlier or later?" I looked at my girlfriend and said, "I don't know either, but he said he was from university and knew Sophia." When my girlfriend heard the word university, she was shocked. I happily suggested, since it's college, it must be Sophia's classmates and juniors. Maybe it's a blessing video recorded for us. I'll cast the screen to the TV and watch it together. When everyone heard this, they thought it made sense and someone immediately turned on the TV. The girlfriend was really panicking. She wanted to stop him. Michael, don't watch it for now. How can I listen to her? Hasn't I been preparing for this moment for so long? Cast the screen decisively. Open your mailbox. Open the email. Play the video. All in one go. Who are you? Who are you? Eh? Isn't this room 8016? How could you make a mistake with such a big difference? Sophia, stop talking. Tell them to leave. Old man, is she your wife? None of your business. Get out of here. You slutty bitch pretending to be noble, if you two weren't committing adultery, why would this old man feel guilty? The last frame freezes on the moment when the girlfriend is only wearing a bath towel. The room was eerily quiet. Although the video has been edited and is only a dozen seconds long, it is shocking enough. Everyone looked at the trembling girlfriend in disbelief. She was so ashamed that she couldn't even stand there. She murmured, "No, no, that's not me, that's not me." I turned to her with a blank expression. My girlfriend suddenly rushed over and grabbed my hand tightly, pleading in her tone, "Honey, believe me, it really wasn't me." I shook her hand off and shouted at the top of my lungs, "Don't think I can't recognize you. This old man is your mentor." There was an uproar at the scene. My girlfriend cried even harder. "No wonder you come home so late every night, no wonder you become more and more cold towards me. It turns out it's all because you hang out with an old man every day, at school. Sophia, you are such a bitch." I raised my foot to leave, but my girlfriend's mother suddenly grabbed me tightly from behind. "Michael, there must be a misunderstanding here." Everyone in the room was extremely embarrassed and quickly left with excuses. My girlfriend's brother suddenly said, "Don't we have AI face swapping now?" Someone must have replaced Sophia's face. Her parents were like they had grasped a life-saving straw when they heard this. Yes, yes. That must be the case. Sophia is so outstanding, there might be someone jealous of her. Sophia would never do anything to let you down. I said in despair, "Uncle, Aunt, please stop talking. I want to be alone for a while." After saying that, I ignored the objections of my girlfriend's parents and forcibly left her house. Not long after I walked out, I heard a burst of vandalism and my girlfriend's screams coming from the house. "How can I give birth to such a shameless bastard like you?" There were so many people in the room just now. "I'm afraid that by tonight, your little thing will be known to the whole village. That man is as old as your father, you say." After a month of patience, I finally waited for this day. Thinking of the embarrassment of Sophia and Robert being exposed in public today, I felt a sense of pleasure in my heart. After returning home, I sorted out all the WeChat chat records between the two of us, as well as the hotel room booking video I got, and sent them to the university president's email, the school party committee, the academic affairs office, the personnel department. Anyway, I sent it to all the email addresses I could find. In the main text, I anonymously reported that Robert had an improper relationship with his female doctoral student, and suggested that the school immediately initiate an investigation procedure to investigate the academic misconduct. It is better to use the remaining courage to pursue the enemy. Robert will be seriously injured if he doesn't die this time. The next day, before I woke up, Sophia's parents came to my house without saying hello. Fortunately, I was careful last night and changed the door lock combination. They tried several times and couldn't open the door, so they knocked on a duangdwang. "Michael, I know you are home, please open the door for your uncle and aunt. We brought you some presents." Last night. I suddenly opened the door. Sophia's mother's hand was suspended in midair, and her father was standing beside her carrying a bunch of messy things. Sophia followed behind him. She seemed to have been beaten again, and both sides of her face were swollen like a pig's head. "Michael, I know you are a soft-hearted child. I'm telling you, you are angry, you can beat and scold her however you want today, we will not stop you. You two have been together for so long and have such a deep relationship, you can't just break up like that." I ignored her and carried the two large suitcases in the room to the door. "These are all the things Sophia left behind. You guys are here today, so take them all." All three of them were stunned. "No, you." I closed the door with a bang. "Ignore the shouting outside the door." Sophia's mother begged me for a long time, but when she saw that I had no intention of opening the door, she finally couldn't bear it anymore and started yelling at her daughter in the corridor. "Why are you doing this for no reason? You're making me so mad. Bitch. We've wasted our time raising a useless thing like you." Sophia also exploded, "Enough. Aren't you just counting on using my betrothal gift to give to my brother? Aren't you just using me as a tool to sell for money? Why have you been supporting me all these years? My brother lost so much money gambling, are you willing to say a word to him? What's the point of pretending to be a good father and mother to me now? Hey! You bitch, you're rebelling against me. I'm going to beat you to death. The family of 3 started quarreling in the corridor like mad dogs, and finally my next-door neighbor came out and scolded them. But her parents still didn't give up. Every other day, Sophia told me that she regretted her decision, cried all the time, and even had thoughts of committing suicide. In the end, I blocked all the family members' phone numbers and WeChat accounts. A few days after I anonymously reported Robert, Sophia suddenly showed up at my door alone. When I came back from get off work, she pounced on me as soon as she saw me, and I quickly dodged her. Michael, are you really so cruel? He is the mentor and I am the student. My graduation and my future are in his hands. I am forced into this. I really have no choice. I assure you, nothing happened in the hotel. I really didn't do you any wrong. Sophia burst into tears. She thought I knew nothing about those chat records. I raised my hand to interrupt her performance and gave her just one word. Roll. The university's announcement didn't keep me waiting long. It is true that Robert and his doctoral student had an improper relationship, and the evidence is solid. Moreover, Robert took the initiative to admit that he had abused his power to help Sophia commit academic fraud and seek personal gain, which seriously violated school rules and regulations. The end result was that Robert was fired from the university and expelled from the party. This incident caused an uproar in the university. Although the school tried its best to suppress it, the video of the original wife making a scene in the laboratory that day, as well as those extremely explicit chat records, still circulated. Robert's reputation in the academic community over the years has completely collapsed. Speaking of the original wife's elder sister, I heard that after the fight that day, she was determined to divorce Robert. Robert had to cooperate with the school's investigation while dealing with troubles at home. In just 2 weeks, he looked more than 20 years older. Sui Chao betrayed his family, interfered in other people's relationships, hooked up with students, and had a bad academic style. His fate was the retribution he deserved. As for Sophia, she naturally didn't have the face to go to school. The beautiful and smart girl who was once envied by everyone is now regarded as a slutty and lowly bitch by everyone. The next time I heard about Sophia was at a dinner party with a friend half a year later. After being silent for 2 months, Sophia started going on blind dates frequently. She concealed her status as a dropout from a doctorate program and only told others that she had a master's degree. Without exception, all of her blind date partners are middle-aged men over 40 years old with strong financial strength. Someone said, rich old men are smarter. They know exactly what beautiful women want from them. There are many who pretend to be in a relationship and then run away after having sex. It's hard to tell who is taking advantage of whom. I shook my head silently. Sophia and her parents are still the same, dreaming of getting something for nothing. Let them be, it has nothing to do with me anyway.